Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a TV different type of video. Not sure what this is going to be yet. It's more of a podcast, alright? We're just going to be talking into a mic for a bit here. And the reason I'm making this video is because World's Pickems are out, and I've had enough time to decipher what the objectively correct ones are. And I've discussed a few times with my friends. I've talked to many other analysts. I conferred with God, actually. I talked to him. Had some important meetings. And I have a good understanding, I think, of what the exact world's correct pickems are going to be. So, thought I'd take you through them. I want to start with the top row, which is like 90% RNG. And we're gonna skip over this one for now because it's a bit of a psychopath pick. But we're gonna move on. How many pentakills will there be at Worlds? All right. So last year at Worlds, I don't know if you remember, but there was a pentakill day one, and then there was another pentakill very soon after that. All right. And the reason for that is because play-ins is completely ridiculous. Let me show you this. So Worlds 2024 format. So if you're not familiar with this, Worlds 20. I type formats plural. If you're not familiar with this, let me see if I can find it here. Images. Surely there's like a bracket. All right, here we go. This will do. Never mind. Wait, I feel like this makes no sense. This is just a Swiss stage and beyond. Okay, all right, we're gonna combine these two. So we have Swiss stage and beyond here. All right, and then we have play-in stage. So play-in stage, which is where we expect the most pentakills to happen. I'm gonna look up qualified teams for Worlds. Play-in stage is where all of the teams that either play for minor regions or were 4th seed or 3rd seed in their region, it's where they play. So in this year's play-in seeds, I can show you over here, but we have, I'll show you all of them. Plus edit picks. Viking Esports, Pain Gaming, Mad Lions, PSG, GAM, 100 Thieves, Shogun, and R7. All right. So these are all the teams. And you'll notice that if you're just a Major League watcher, majority of these you will just not have heard of, right? So R7, who the hell is that? I love the R7, by the way. Their name is Movistar R7, which is hilariously funny. I love the name Movistar. That's a good name. And it's important that you haven't heard of these for the pentakill pickems, because these teams kind of suck. Like, I don't want to lie. Some of them are good, all right? So PSG, for example, is really good. GAM is a good team as well. I'll get to why I haven't picked them in a second. GAM is a good team as well. Mad Lions is fine. 100 Thieves is from NA, KEKW. So we don't talk about them. But those teams kind of suck, all right, in comparison to the other teams. So the game quality is going to be a little bit scrappier. And so we're banking on, in those games, there being a little bit of a fiesta going on, like there was last year. And I think if that is the case, we're going to see pentakills coming out. Like, I think Mad Lions ADC Super, I think it's likely for him to get a pentakill. I think it's very likely, in fact. And so I'm voting for 3+ pentakills, because I want a little spice. I have faith in it. I have belief. Then Drake is full RNG. I went Cloud because when I did it, and this is some lore, it was raining. And I thought, wait, surely it's Ocean then. Fuck it. It was cloudy, all right? It was cloudy and raining. It's Cloud, all right? That's what I thought. All right, screw you. How many Barons still will there be at Worlds? If you think about it, we got BLG at Worlds, all right, who's a consistent Baron still. BLG is the Chinese #1 seed, all right. Wei is their jungler. He's a freak on Baron stilling. Gumayushi is going to Worlds, okay. So that's at least 2 Baron stills right there. And then you have, there's some other teams as well that you have. The big thing is that Piosik is not going to Worlds, okay. So I was originally thinking, like, if Piosik was at Worlds, it's probably 9+, right? Because every time that team would have tried Baron, it would have instantly been stolen. This, like, by fucking the support, right? Lulu supports have a better chance of stealing Baron than Piosik does of smiting it, low key. All right. Given he's not at Worlds, and that we only have, Gumayushi, BLG, PSG kind of is a Baron stealing team as well. I think 3 to 5 is a good bet. Reverse sweeps are unbelievably rare. There's 7 total best of 5s, okay? I originally was thinking 1 because, like, I have a feeling that, like, G2 is gonna, like, get reverse swept by NA. Like, I can just see it in my head that, like, G2 goes 2-0 against, like, FlyQuest or some shit, probably Team Liquid. Like, G2 goes up 2-0 against Team Liquid in, like, a qualifier match, and they just get full reverse swept. Like, I can see that happening, but also I don't want it to happen, so we're gonna go with 0 there. And we come to game duration. Okay, so let me explain. This is the pick. All right, so if you're not a psychopath, all right, that's the pick. All right, 44, 59 or less is objectively correct. All right, that's very likely. If you look at last year, there was like 2 outliers that went here, which is like, okay, so maybe you should vote for this. But the meta this year, as I'll get to a little bit later, has shifted away from this hyperscaling. It's going to be a lot faster. And then you also have some teams that do not fuck around here, right? So like like if we look at all the teams here that are gonna make it, all right. So if we're looking just top 8, all right. We're looking at BLG, all right. Damwon, who are my goats. We love Damwon, all right. G2, Prage, maybe top 8, hopefully. Hanwha Life, okay. T1, LNG, Top Esports, probably Weibo, okay. All of those teams, they get it done quick. All right, they get it done quick. Maybe with the exception of Genji. All right, Genji does not get it done quick. But all the rest of those teams, T1 is a notorious. If they start winning, they just end the game instantly. BLG, same deal. All right, I think the only chance we have of seeing like a longer match is maybe there's 2 chances. Okay, in minor regions if they're competing, like in the play-ins. Okay, and you have some shitter match versus another shitter, and then they just don't know how to end. That's likely, okay? Fnatic also, Fnatic versus G2, if we get that at Worlds, very likely gonna be like a 60-minute match, okay? Because if Fnatic gets a lead, we all know what happens, all right? We know what happens, which is that Fnatic does not end and then G2 wins anyway, okay? So, so yeah. But you might be thinking, given that this 44 or less pick is correct, why have you gone for 50 to 49, 59? And the reason for that is because, ladies and gentlemen, I told you I spoke to God, and he told me that Game 5 Worlds is 60 minutes long. So, I mean, I should have gone here then. So, but I took it with a grain of salt. So I was like, okay, like, good to hear that, but I'm going to go a little bit shorter as well, because I use my brain as well as talking to God. So that's, like, the thing, right? That's the thing. So, as well, so if you want to, like, get in on this train, I'm saying, like, 50 free points. That's all I'm saying, you know? So, yeah, that's that. Those are my first 5, rather. Of course, literally all of them are just RNG. Like, you can't really predict these. You can't really, like, math these, okay? Maybe Baron Steals is kind of less. Reverse Sweeps is kind of, like, like, if you do more than 0, you're a bit of a psychopath. We're gonna get to the harder ones now, okay? So we're gonna start with champions. Now, again, I'll start with the first one here, which is who will be played in the most different roles at Worlds. Now, I put Poppy, but I'll tell you what the cook was, alright? I'll tell you what the original cook was. And that is this fella here. This lovely gentleman, alright? Varus, okay? Now you might be thinking, Matt, why Varus? Let me show you something, okay? Let me show you something. So we go to the 14-18 patch notes, which is Worlds, alright? Varus has been nerfed a lot, okay? Varus has been nerfed a lot for every type of matchup, alright? He's been nerfed in Elite, Pro, Skilled, and Average, okay? Now, when I first read the patch notes, I actually managed to skip over that one, alright? So, I wasn't thinking that. And then, I was looking at this, alright? Mirwin is the top laner for 100 Thieves. Not 100 Thieves, for, what is he, Mad Lions? Yeah. Mirwin plays a bit of Varus top, alright? Mirwin plays a bit of Varus top, okay? Which is alright. He's got it in here. Look, he's got 6 games of Varus top with an 83% win rate. Look at that, alright? That's like a fair amount. He's got more Varus games than he has Camille and Kennen games, okay? That's ridiculous. Ignore the Nidalee games, okay? More Varus games than he has Renekton and Aatrox games, okay? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of Varus games, particularly as a top laner. So I'm thinking, okay, Varus top. Then, Varus mid. Varus mid is a very playable thing, okay? You watch the LoL Dobby video, Varus mid, okay? To be fair, I don't think they're going to be playing Locket first. Like, the video is about Locket of the Iron Solari first, tank Varus mid. Good video, by the way. The reason this works is because Varus' base damage was so high that you could go Locket first and then full one-shot anyone. Like, anyway. So I was thinking, okay, Varus mid, Varus top. Likely. Varus ADC. Okay, not a bad pick. Historically, pretty good at Worlds. Gumiyushi, of course, like, is a Varus one-trick. He's a complete Varus merchant. Okay, so you play Varus wherever he wants to. So that leaves us, that's 3 roles that are sort of likely. Okay. What about Varus support? And then I invite you to look at this gentleman here. And again, I just have faith in him. You know, I looked him in the eyes and I went, he's probably going to pick it. Look at him. Look at him. Like, he might play Kalista support, he might play Varus support, Ashe support. These are all in his wheelhouse, okay? And I think particularly if they get matched up against, like, some shitter team, which they probably won't given the way the draw's looking because they're 4th seed, which is kind of insane, by the way. T1 being 4th seed is crazy. But I think if they get matched up against some team that way better, then Carry is very likely to pull out some wacky stuff. I think Varus support's possible, right? So I was thinking 3 roles, likely. 4 roles, unlikely, but possible, okay? And I think he is the only champion in the game where that is true. I don't think there's another champion that actually, feasibly, in Worlds, could be played in 4 roles. The only issue, right? The only reason this isn't necessarily true is because Varus has fallen out of love in the meta, right? So he's a little bit... Let me see if I can scroll to what happened to him, because it's a bit sad, you know? So it's a fair amount, right? So his Q build kind of got fucked, all right? So they 20% less damage on his arrow, which is brutal. Right? That's it's not less damage, but less AD scaling, right? Which probably translates to around about 5-10% less damage, which is a lot. Right? So it's a lot.
Don't plan it. Don't wait for it. Just let it happen.
And then 10% less AD scaling on his E. Of course, this does not impact the AP build at all, but the AP build is kind of dog shit, particularly in Pro. So unlikely to be seen. So yeah, don't pick Varus. You can pick Varus if you're still feeling it, because again, he is, like, in my opinion, the only champion likely possible to even be picked in 4 roles. But given that there's no champion going to be picked in 4 roles, Poppy is, like, the safest pick you can possibly go for, because she will be picked in 3 roles. Like, there's a 100% chance you will see Poppy top, you will see Poppy jungle, and you will see Poppy support. All 3 of those, okay? You know, thinking, like, why? Well, because in each of those roles, she's a very solid counter pick to things that are in the meta. So if you see J4, Poppy jungle is very good. All right, Cassante, Poppy top is good. Okay, Gwen, Poppy top is good. Renekton, Poppy top is insane. Okay, supports, they pick Kalista. Kalista's pretty good right now. Okay, I think she went untouched. I'm pretty sure she went untouched, if not buffed. I haven't looked entirely. We see Kalista, Poppy support is like the full on, like, oh no, can I read? Okay, yeah, she went untouched. All right, so she's likely. Jinx has been buffed as well. Enchant has been buffed. Okay, so Kalista's like possible. It's very possible that we see Kalista's. Particularly because she's a very good champion in pro matches. Anyway. So, yeah, so Poppy support likely. It works against Alistar, works against all these engaged supports as well. So I think all 3 of those roles are just, like, almost guaranteed to happen. And given there's no champ that's going to be picked in 4 roles, 3 roles the best you can do, Poppy's the safest. So, this is not a winning play, but I don't think there is a winning play, and so you pick this. Now, I'm going to skip over Cassante. I'm going to skip over Vi. I'm going to go on to who will have the most total deaths at Worlds. I've also gone Poppy here. Now, let me be clear. You have three pretty good options, okay? Your options are Rel. Your options are Nautilus. Okay? You can go Rakan if you want to, but I don't think Rakan's going to be played as much as he has been in the past. And also, I feel like he's quite slippery. So I think Rel, Nautilus. I think Poppy. I think these are your 3 options, okay? And I think you are justified in going each of those 3 options. But I'll tell you what made me go Poppy over those 2. And it's this gentleman. It's this gentleman right here. Mickey X is at this tournament. Now, I know you look at this guy's face and you think, like, this guy's face just looks like 011 on Nautilus, all right? It looks like the time that he went 011 on Nautilus. I'm pretty sure that happened. He just, like, full inted it on Nautilus, okay? And, like, that has happened, okay? I will not lie to you and tell you that Mickey X... Wait, farewell, Mickey X. Is this real? 2022. Okay. They're trolling. Yeah, I will not lie to you and tell you that this guy is not the biggest Nautilus troll I've ever seen in my life. He is. He's also cracked, okay? Don't get me wrong. Mickey's a really good player. He's a bit of a sprinter. He does sprint it a little bit. But he's also pretty mechanically insane. Finds the engage angles. But he has a lot of deaths. Mickey X's Poppy is the most psychotic thing I've ever seen in my life, okay? At MSI, so you see there's like 10,000 videos about it, all right? There's 10,000 fucking clips of Mickey X on Poppy. Like you've seen you've seen Kadrill's reaction to Mickey at MSI sounding like a little kid going to Disneyland for the first time, where he's like, Mickey Mouse! So he's going insane, all right? Because Mickey at MSI on Poppy was a complete freak. He was just flash engaging on everyone, full one-shotting people, and his deaths were equal to his kills, but he was getting insane engages, right? So Mickey X's Poppy, I think single-handedly is going to sway the amount of deaths that the champ has at Worlds, just because of how aggressively this guy plays. I also think that, like, I just typed in one trick GG. I think On is a person who's likely to play it. On, yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. But the other big inter who's at Worlds, apart from Mickey X, who also sways this, is Crisp. Crisp is Weibo Gaming support from last year. If you remember him, he was the level 5 Heimerdinger running around at 13 minutes, which is not a good time to be level 5. He was real bad, and he is still real bad. He's a world champion, but he's a big troll. And he also has an affinity for Poppy, so it's likely that we're going to see a lot of deaths on this champion. But I think, again, Nautilus and Rel both good picks as well. Maybe even Nautilus is more likely, because, again, Nautilus is guaranteed to be picked a lot. Alright, let's go on to who will be the most picked champion during Champ Select at Worlds. Again, you have a couple more options here. So, the Worlds meta is shifting. If you look at what the pros are playing in solo queue. What's it called again? What's the website? Pro solo queue website. Far out, I forgot. Not tracking their pros. Lowpros.gg, no? This is it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So if we look at caps, we look at Dr. Orange, which is the account he's playing on right now. You'll notice, can I look at it? How do you look at it, guys? We're in trouble. All right, we're going Dr. Orange. Dr. Orange OPGG. So if you look at it, you'll see what he's playing. Hui. All right, Hui mid. Also, these are insane. This is like Challenger. This is 18. This is almost 2,000 LP Challenger. What the fuck? This guy's insane. He's playing Hui ADC here, though. Maybe he's playing mid. I don't know. I feel like you can just, like, I feel like in Champ Select, this guy can type, I'm caps, give me mid. And it's like, yeah, okay. I will give you mid. He's playing a lot of Hui. Before I looked at this, yeah, it was mostly Orianna Syndra, right? This is what I was remembering seeing. And this is in the pro solo queue, right? So right now, European server is completely insane because you have every single player boot camping for Worlds on the European server. So all these ridiculous Korean players, all of these ridiculous European and Chinese players. We're gonna skip over the American players. Well, some of them are good. Okay, Impact is a really good player. All right, Appa, I don't like him. I think he can play the game okay. He gets gapped like a complete monster by majority of other mid laners who aren't in the LCS, but I think he's fine. All right, I think he's fine. Anyway, moving on from that, you see the Caps playing a lot of Orianna, a lot of Syndra. If you look at Chovy's a little bit more interesting because he's not a big fan of Orianna or Syndra. I actually don't know what his account's called. Let me see if I can find it. I knew he just coming off a bit of a break. Like, he stopped playing solo queue for a couple weeks. He might not actually be. Yeah, I don't think he is playing. There's a few others, right? There's a few others who are... What's it called? A few others who are playing a lot of Orianna Syndra. I think that Yone, again, this is a take a lot of analysts have, and I agree with it. I think Yone is ridiculously strong right now because he's one of the champs that like goes most unaffected by the fleet footwork changes because the champ is so ridiculously good with it still. I think Yone is really good. I think his items are good right now. I think he's a good counter pick as well into a lot of champs because he can neutralize the laning phase. So again, thinking about Orianna versus Yone, thinking about Yone versus Syndra, Yone doesn't have it easy time in lane. Like we're thinking about the matchup at the highest level possible, right? So obviously in like gold, it's very Yone favored because the Syndra sucks. And the Yone is, like, Yone's a lot easier to play in that lane if the Syndra is bad. But in a very high elo, the Syndra is going to be ridiculously good. So if we're looking at, the Syndra is Chovy, all right, and the Yone is, like, Zeka, all right, then the matchup is very Syndra favored until we get into side lane later. Yone's power in this meta is going to be, as a champ, to counter the side lane pressure or force side lane pressure, rather, onto immobile mid lane mages picked by these insane teams. So, for example, I think if Knight is on Syndra, all right, Knight Syndra is ridiculously strong, and he's really insane in team fights, but one of the ways that you can force BLG to bleed a little bit is if they're trying to look for these plays around the map, these proactive plays, and you have a Yone just sitting in side lane, they can't really match it apart from with their top laner. Okay, so their top laner has to go match the Yone, because you can't put Syndra matching Yone, because she doesn't have flash. Okay, by the way, Yone and Yone, I don't care. I'm going to say what's easier, alright? If the Syndra doesn't have flash, and the Yone has an item, then he just, like, kills her, right? Because Syndra cannot dodge his ult without flash. Like, obviously he can miss it if he sucks, but if you put her right in the middle, she's not dodging it, okay? And if she gets ulted, she's dead. So simple as that, right? So immobile mid lane mages, and this is true for all of them, without flash, they cannot match Yone. Even with flash, okay, they're forced to blow it if he has one item, okay? And that's really bad. That's where Yone's really strong right now in the meta. I also think that, obviously, he's insane in team fights. Obviously, he scales with how good the players are at him. So, again, if we see Zeus top on Yone, that guy's one of the best Yones in the world. If we see Zeka on Yone, he's really insane. Don't want to talk about Faker's Yone. Not the best. It's okay. All right. Even Chovy's Yone's not bad. So I think Yone's likely to be picked a lot. So I don't know how we got here. I'm just talking. Well, I think Yone's likely to be picked a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. We look at the mid lane meta. This is where... Sorry, I understand where I was going. Okay, because this is how I got to the Cassante. I think that mid lane champions, all of them, that are likely to be picked. So we're looking Syndra, Yone, Orianna, Azir, of course. Like, he never falls out of the meta, even though he's been nerfed this time. Hui is being picked. Like, I think Hui's more on the side. Like, he's not as likely to be picked. All these champions, okay? I think that depending on the team you're playing against, certain ones are going to be banned every game. So, if you're against BLG, Knight Syndra is going to be permabanned, right? If you're against T1, Faker's Orianna, probably permabanned, okay? If it's in the meta, right? If you're against G2, good luck. If you're against Gen G, probably banning Chovy's Yone. HLE, probably banning Zeka's Yone, right? And I think it changes depending on every team. So what I'm trying to say is that I think picking one of these super meta-defining mid lane champions in either of these is actually a mistake. And the reason for that is because depending on the matchup, the ban will change. They're not something that you will see in the pick or ban. They'll be very high presence, okay? But they will not be permanently picked or permanently banned, because it changes very much depending on the team you're playing against. Does that make sense? So, if you're picking, let's say you pick Yone as the most picked champion during Champ Select at Worlds, he'll be picked sometimes, but most of the time, right? Well, sorry, half the time he'll be picked. Let's say half the time he'll be picked, half the time he'll be banned, okay? So he's obviously not the most picked champ. And he's obviously not the most banned champ. And I think this is true for all the mid lane champions that are going to be meta-defining. So you can't, like, picking Syndra here is a bit of a troll, because against some teams, again, they're not going to be banned, alright? Because, like, against Gen G, for example, Chovy just doesn't touch the champ. So it's not going to be banned. Anyway. So, that rules out all of these mid lane meta champs. So then I look at, okay, so if we're not looking at the mid lane meta, what is going to be meta defining elsewhere, or what just escapes, like what just slips through all the time? And this is where, like, you look at all the stats for all the finals, all right? You look at everything here. Let me see if I can look at picks and bans, okay? And consistently, in every single one of these, you'll see this little man right here. 17 times he's picked in the LEC Spring Finals, okay? How many times here? This is when Rumble was busted, by the way. Rumble's really good versus Cassante. He's picked 5 times, right, in the LPL Regional Finals. LPL stats obviously not updated, but he's still the most picked top laner in LPL Regional Finals, okay? The most picked top laner in LCK Regional Finals. And if we look at the Worlds patch... Where is the Worlds patch? I got rid of it, didn't I? 14-18. If we look at the Worlds patch... Alright? You'll notice he's not touched. So if he's not being banned, and he's just being locked in as he's just the safest possible top laner to pick. And he's never being banned because he's not worth banning, because he's not actually that egregious. Like, obviously, like everyone says, like, he's actually, I gotta take it back. He's been banned a little bit here, right? LCK Spring, he got banned a bit. But that's over the course of an entire spring season. If we just look at the LCK Regional Finals, I actually don't know if he's played that much in the LCK Regional Finals. I don't remember seeing him too much. He was played, like, look, he's played 8 times and banned once, okay? And this is in the most recent finals. That's, like, it's ridiculous. So this champion, he just slips through. So I think he is objectively the safest pick for who will be picked the most, because he's not egregious enough to be banned. You know, he's not something you'd ban to give your top laner safety, because he's not a counter pick. And he's also not the type of thing you'd ban 1, 2, 3. So you wouldn't ban him 4, 5 because you're not trying to give someone safety. You wouldn't ban him 1, 2, 3 because he's not busted enough. So yeah, that's that. You just put Cassante there and you win. In terms of most banned, already talked about this. A lot of people, I see them put Yone here. I see them put Syndra here. I see them put Orianna here. I think it's a mistake. Again, explained this before. So don't put a mid laner here. For a similar reason, I don't think you should put an ADC here. I think the ADC meta is a little bit too varied right now. I think the safest option is the best engaged jungler right now. Again, she got a little bit of a nerf, but I don't think it's enough. I think she's still number 1. I think she's still busted. I think she's going to get banned all the time. I think she's also the type of champion that every jungler plays. Like, I'm trying to think of... Obviously, I don't have much knowledge about the minor regions. I'm trying to think of junglers who don't play Vi. Like, obviously, it's a little weird. Like, I feel like everyone plays it. I feel like everyone can play it, you know what I mean? So it's the type of thing that you would ban against every team. Because when Vi's good, the jungle will play it. It's not the type of thing that takes a lot of skill expression. So I think she's going to get banned a lot. Total deaths to across Poppy. Highest win rate. So we get to Jax, okay? Now, this is a bit of a this is a bit of a Matt Cook, because this is an extremely hard pick. This is an extremely hard pick. The reason for this is because you want a champion, and as kindly as I can, I'm going to say this. You want a champion that only Eastern people play, all right? You don't want a champion that any Westerners will touch. If you pick a character that, like, Broken Blade is going to play, or you pick a character that Merwin might play, all right, or Appa, or any American or European player might accidentally, like, press lock in champion select, okay? You're full griefing, because they will lose, all right? I don't want to, try to say this as nicely, as gently as I possibly can, but the only people you want playing your character in this slot are people in easternly situated in the world, right? You want Chinese players, and you want Korean players. Now, Jax is actually not one of those champions, okay? So Broken Blade does play a bit of Jax. I can imagine Merwin playing a bit. Impact also plays it, right? So I'm kind of breaking my own rule here. Sorry, this is an ice cube I'm having. It's really good. I'm just gonna crunch it. I'm kind of breaking my own rule here by picking Jax, given that Western top laners do play it. But I don't think that they're very likely to play it in Worlds. And I could be wrong, and I could have, I could see game one, Merwin locks it in against, like, PSG or some shit, and instantly just, like, gets blasted and full griefs it. And if that happens, well, GG's. But I think, like, the other options here, I think they're all going to be top lane counter picks, by the way. So I was thinking maybe Mordekaiser into Cassante. Mordekaiser's a really good pick because pretty much only Keen, who's the other? 369 and Keen are pretty much the only people who play Mordekaiser. And, if you're aware, Top Esports is 369, and that's a Chinese team. Gen G is Keen, and that's a Korean team. And ding, 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 that passes the mat test. Unfortunately, I don't think it's been picked enough. So that's why we didn't pick it. I don't think Mordekaiser's going to have 5 games at Worlds. If you do think Mordekaiser's going to have 5 games at Worlds, pick Mordekaiser here. But Jax, realistically, I don't think Western teams are going to play it because it takes a lot of balls. And if they do play it, I think my screams of agony are going to be heard echoing even where you are, all right? You're probably going to hear me. And I'll be watching very closely, so I hope that they don't pick it. But yeah, I think that the people most likely to pick this, I think Bin, obviously, it might be banned against him because he's so insane at it. I think Bin's likely to pick it. I think Keen will pick it. I think Zeus, maybe. Zeus doesn't play much Jax, actually. But I think Keen and Bin, like, very likely to pick it. Yeah, I feel like those are probably the two most. Doran, I don't like putting my faith in Doran. Like, again, a lot of the analysts say the same thing. Doran's a little bit of a weirdo. Like, he doesn't really play too well when the stakes are on, with the exception of when he won with DRX. But, we'll move on from that. Yeah, so I think Jax is the best pick here. I think there's arguments for others. I think most of them are top lane counter picks. Renata actually last year went 14-3 in Worlds, but I don't know how much Renata we're going to see this year. We could see a lot, like, she's always good. I don't think she's been touched, so we could see a lot. But I feel like 14-3 was kind of a fluke. Like, a lot of teams play Renata. I think the teams that played her last year just happened to win a lot. I think Jax is the best pick here. That's my take. And I think the reason is, again, because the caliber of top laners who play it are extremely good, and the bad top laners are not likely to play it. That's my 2 takes. All right. Almost there now. Moving on to players. We're going to start over here on the right side. So, who will get at least 1 pentakill at Worlds? All right, you get 100 points for this one. You'll notice I've picked Pays. All right, now before up here, I talked about how it's very likely that a play-ins team is going to get a pentakill. All right, I don't have enough faith in any of them to commit to 1 player. I think if I did commit to 1 player, I'd pick Super. But I don't have enough faith that he's going to be the one doing the pentakill and not being the one getting pentakilled. All right, I think that PSG's ADC, I forgot the name. I think it's Betty. It is Betty, isn't it? Or is that to the support? Whatever. I think PSG's ADC is ridiculously good as well, so it's likely they got a pentakill. I was tossing up between them, and then I thought, like, I think the best option for this is a team that is going to play a lot of games, right? A team that's going to play a lot of games with an insanely good ADC. So your options for, like, safety, I think are Viper from Hammer Life, Pays from Gen G, Elk from BLG. I think those are the best options. Actually, I'm going to change my pick from Pace here. I'm actually going to change this to Viper right now. I'm going to change it live. And the reason I'm changing it live, I'll explain. I think I screwed up here. The best option, okay, is a really, really high quality team that is going to play guaranteed against a very low quality team. That's the best option, okay? So, we pick your two best options. If we look at the seeding in the LCK, and I see where I made my mistake here. If we look at the seeding in the LCK and the LPL, okay, the way this tournament works is that in the first round, seed number 1 is going to play against seed number 4 from another region or a play-ins team, okay? Seed number 1 in the LCK is HLE. Seed number 1 in the LPL is BLG, okay? So you're going to have a Chinese team playing against some 4th seed team and a Korean team playing against some 4th seed team. That game is the most likely that you're ever going to see for a team to get a pentakill, I think. And so we're going to pick Viper, who's from Hammer Life, okay? We're going to pray that in the very first game they play, they're going to get a pentakill. That's the prayer here. I think that's the most likely. Like you can believe me. I think it's a fair pick. Okay. Let's go far left now. I want to change this to away as well. Sorry, I'm changing on the fly here. Who will play the most different champions at Worlds? Okay, again, the best options for most different champions is a team that's likely to go very far in the tournament. That's the best options, right? So we're looking at the teams that you think are going to make even like semifinals to grand finals, okay? I think grand finals is pretty much locked in, one of BLG or Gen G. I think it's possible the other one chokes. My bet is that BLG is going to make it to grand final. I think BLG is going to win Worlds. I think they're the best team. I also think that BLG is quite varied. So I think BLG has a lot of different playstyles. I think Wei is a really, really insane jungler. I think jungle's the best role for playing the most different champions. You could argue for support as well. Last year it was ADC. I don't think ADC is necessarily varied enough this year. It's pretty varied, but it's not necessarily varied enough. I think this year the jungle meta is very diverse. You see Ivern, you can see Vi, you can see J4, you can see all these champions, right? Maokai is still good, Sejuani is still good, all these champs, right? And I think any self-respecting jungle is very likely to play a lot of them. A lot of different champs. I think the further in the tournament, the more different champs you're going to play. So that's why you pick Wei here. But you can also argue for Canyon if you think Gen G's going to make it further. You could even argue for some random play-ins jungler if you think they pull out some wacky stuff and they're going to make it far. Fair enough. You can argue for the G2 Mickey, okay? Mickey plays some weird shit. You can argue for Carrier, okay? Carrier also plays some weird shit, okay? All these are fine. I think the most likely is Wei. So yeah, go Wei. Who will get the most kills in a single game at Worlds? We pick Pays because I have bias. I watched MSI finals and Pays got 27 kills in a game. And that's why we pick him. I have faith in that guy. I think he's going to farm kids. Other good options, again, I think it's going to be an ADC no matter what. But again, the other good options, Elk from BLG. I think the reason that you pick Elk, again, is because they're top seed. They're going to play against a 4th seed team. Very likely that Elk gets a lot of kills in that game. But it's also very likely that game just ends insanely fast. And then Viper, another good option, okay? For the same reason. I'm going to go with Pays. I just have a feeling, alright? I told you, you know. Chovy. Who will have the highest KD at Worlds? Chovy, alright? Chovy. Like, it's like, yeah. Yeah. You could also, again, same thing. You can argue one of the top tier ADCs. I just think it's Chovy. I think this guy's too good. I think he's the best player in the world right now. I think that will show at Worlds with his KDA. I think it's ridiculous. So yeah, I like. Same deal with all the other pickems here. I think any of the top 3 teams, which is Gen G, HLE, BLG, you can pick either their mid or ADC for all of them, and it's like probably like it's arguable. You have an argument, but I think Chovy's the most likely. Who will get the most first cut blood kills at Worlds? This is a full gamble. Again, it's a team that's likely to go far in the tournament. So all 5 of these is a team that's likely to go far in the tournament. Is the best bet. Genji Canyon, not Genji HLE Peanut. Genji Canyon gives a lot of kill. I think it's going to be Jungler, first of all. Jungler has the highest first blood percentage participation. Canyon is not a jungler who takes a lot of kills. Peanut is also not a jungler who takes a lot of kills. My boy Peanut, he gives you the layup, alright? He sets it up for you, and then he lets you dunk, alright? So yeah, I don't think it's going to be Canyon, I think it's going to be Peanut. I think Wei's the best bet. Wei's got a lot of flair to him. He's a Chinese jungler, he's a freak. He's absolutely nasty. So I think it's likely that it's gonna be Wei here. I think this one's more clear cut than the others, just because of the caliber, like the type of player the other two really insane junglers are. Less likely to give over. Sorry, more likely to give over kills, less likely to take for themselves. Now we get to the final good stuff. The good stuff here. All right, which team from a region with 2 seeds or less will advance furthest through Worlds? The answer is objectively PSG Talon. Okay, there are arguments for Mad Lions. Those arguments suck. All right, PSG Talon is objectively the best team in all of play-ins. They are insanely good. If you watch like a couple games of them, you'll understand this. I think in play-ins they're gonna full dominate. In MSI, they took 2 games off of BLG, okay, who went on to go to the grand finals of MSI against Genji, okay? That's pretty insane. And PSG has just been looking to get better. Okay, so if you're looking for a minor team that is going to full dominate, PSG's your bet, all right? Which team will win the shortest game duration at Worlds? Again, your options here, very likely going to be BLG. The reason it's very likely going to be BLG, it's BLG or Hammer Life. It's pretty much that. For the same reason I talked about up here. And that reason is that BLG and Hammer Life are both playing against the 4th seed, or a team that makes it through play-ins. Oops, I have just full shut my computer. My bad. My beautiful play desktop background. My screen is being observed. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's going to be BLG. I think BLG is more than Hammer Life, a shit stomp team. Like, I think they're of a similar vein to T1 in that way. In that when BLG gets a lead against a team that's way worse than them, they just full end. Like, we saw T1 end in 16 minutes, 24 seconds. I think BLG is... Was it 16:34? Sorry, 16:34. I think BLG is, like, pretty similar. I think BLG could do the same thing to some poor European little team. Which team will have the most Baronses at Worlds? Pure RNG. Okay. Likely to be a team that makes it far. I go T1. I don't necessarily believe it, because I think it's possible that T1, like, in their current form, they do usually clutch up a Worlds. I think it's possible they don't make it past, like, semis or quarters even, right? So yeah, probably possibly they don't make it past quarters rather. I think they can make it through split and then just get knocked out insta. But I just have a feeling, I just have a feeling they're gonna make it quite far. I have a feeling they're gonna steal a few Barons. So yeah, we go T1 here. Again, best bet is a team that's gonna make it far. All right, so do what you will with that. I think BLG, Genji, HLE, T1, all fine. All right, Damwon if you want. Okay, if you have a feeling about Damwon, I think Damwon could make it pretty far as well. But yeah, which team will win Worlds? We'll talk about that in a second. Which team will play the most different champions at Worlds is the team that makes it the furthest, that also has the most varied champion pool. So again, BLG. I'm yapping on the same talking points, but it's free, right? It's just BLG. Because again, Genji plays the same champions pretty much every game, right? They have a very similar playstyle. They stick to the same thing. That same thing works at 95% effectiveness every game. They're ridiculously good at it, but they don't play a varied playstyle because they don't have to. BLG, on the other hand, I think they can play everything. I think they play whatever they feel like, right? Whatever's good. And I think, particularly with Wei, who's a new jungler since MSI, right? So BLG had a different jungler at MSI. They had, who they have? Shun. But they have Wei now, and he's a very different type of player. He's pretty insane. I think it kind of catalyzes all these different types of playstyles for BLG that allow them to do whatever the hell they want. And that results in a very varied champion pool for everyone. So yeah, I think BLG is probably going to play the most different champions. And I think that moving on to the big one, which is which team will win Worlds. I think you can probably tell from how I've been talking about them, but I think BLG. I think BLG is by far the best team in the world right now. There's, again, arguments for Genji. I don't think Genji's improved. I think Genji, since MSI, has pretty much stayed the same. Whereas BLG looked insane in MSI, looked insane last year even. And this split, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they've just evolved. I feel like they've gotten so much much better in almost every role. I think particularly with the addition of Wei, I talked about this earlier. I have a feeling that this team is ridiculously good. I just think they are the best. So yeah, I think BLG is gonna win Worlds. I also feel like they're not a team that's likely to choke. I think Genji, arguments for Genji choking. But yeah, I think other options as well. This is the other option, okay? Let me explain myself, okay? So if you want to go with Damwon, I respect you. And I want to go with Damwon. I'm going for Damwon, okay? Damwon is like my team that I go for. You can call me Kadril Sam, but I go for them because I like Showmaker, and I go for them because I like Kingen, alright? Kadril is what it is, okay? Showmaker and Kingen are the goods. I fucking love them. Damwon, there's an argument here. And that argument is very simple. the team that wins Worlds is never the team that you think's gonna win Worlds. That's the argument. It's as simple as that, alright? The argument is, last year, okay, who was the best teams? It was JDG, it was Gen.G. What happened to JDG, Gen.G? They didn't win Worlds. Instead, who won Worlds was T1, who no one expected, okay? No one expected T1 to win Worlds. Who also made it to World Finals? Weibo Gaming, alright? 4th seed LPL. No one expected Weibo to make it World Finals, okay? So, literally, the argument is just based on faith. It's based on belief. Damwon, absolutely no reason they should win Worlds, but that's all the reason they need, you know? Despite that, I'm going to pick BLG here because I like points, and I think that Damwon is going to lose. Now we get to the probably the easiest. This is the easiest, okay? Let me, can I edit? I don't know how to edit. This is the easiest. This is the very final thing, alright? It's 4 clicks if you want to make maximum points. These are the 4 clicks, alright? These are your 4 clicks if you want to make maximum points. Mad Lions, PSG, Gam, and 100 Thieves, okay? Now, this is really boring, okay? And I want to have something to go for in play-ins. So instead of Gam, I'm going to go for Shogun because my boy Evi's on it, and Shogun's playstyle is really fun to watch. So if you want to be like me, go for Shogun. The reason you go for Shogun is because they play these wombo combo comps. Like, they play Amumu, MF, Rel. Like, they play this crazy shit. Like, Ornn, Amumu, MF, Rel, full team fight, wombo combo, crazy shit, right? And that's really fun to watch. And I want, like, I don't know, I want an upset in play-ins. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. I think the best pick is Gam over Shogun. But I think this is possible. I think this is possible as well. I think Vikings could make it over Gam. This is, like, Gam beat Vikings in the finals of the VCS, right? But Vikings was looking way better than Gam for the entire duration of the VCS. So again, this is very possible. I think these 4 could make it. But I'm gonna go for this just because my boy Evie, and I like watching Shogun play. That's that. That's pickems. That's pickems. So copy me if you wanna win. But also, you know, let me get some points for myself, you know? Let me get some points for myself. Anyway, GD's everybody. I'll see you in another video soonish. I'll probably do some play casts. I definitely will be casting World Games. I'm having a look at that. I'm having some fun doing that. Go Damwon, go G2. That's what I want to end it with. That's who we're going for. All right, GG's, bye-bye.